This hangout is on the air. Good morning or afternoon or evening, everybody, depending on where you are, and welcome and thank you for coming. And as you know, we have a very special show today. But Craig, really good to see you. Bill, Larry, Sue, Chris, Laura, Patricia, welcome and glad you're all here. And I'm just going to turn the reins over to our guest, and um, we're talking about alkalizing, and we're just going to just take it away with the benefits or the truth about alkalizing. So, Mr. Wenniger, you want to just take it away?
Absolutely. Thank you, Len, for having me today. And
it's our pleasure, buddy.
Well, thank you. So today we're going to talk about alkalizing. As far as I'm concerned, the single most important thing one can do for their body to prevent disease, illness, viruses, common cold and flu, and even cancer. In 1931, Dr. Otto Warburg, now do that math, 1931, he wins the Nobel Peace Prize, proving that no form of disease or illness, not even the cancer cell, can live in an alkaline environment. So unfortunately, we're all very, very acidic on the inside, which is really bad because everything from the common cold, flu, viruses, cancer, lives, breeds, and thrives in acidity. Now, if you remove the acidity and replace it with alkalinity, it can't live, not even the cancer cell. Once that acidic environment goes to an alkaline environment, the cancer cell's like a fish out of water. It's like, and it dies. So, people would say, well, gosh, Daniel, that sounds wonderful. How do I alkalize? Well, you got to take three things to alkalize the body. First thing you take are your greens. We make them in a powder form or in a capsule form. Some people like to drink their greens. Some people don't care for drinking their greens, so we make them in a capsule form. You can take them either way. The second thing you need to do is take your omega oils. We make a 3, 6, and 9. Take your omega oils. And the last thing is pH drops. You make pH drops because everything you drink is acidic. Even a bottle of water, you take the cap off a brand new bottle of water and stick a pH test strip in there, and it's acidic. So whether you're drinking coffee, tea, water, juice, beer, I don't care what you're drinking. Everything you drink is acidic. You put 1 drop for every 2 ounces of fluid. So if you had a 12-ounce glass, you put 6 drops of the pH drops in there, and that will neutralize and alkalize that liquid, and then put into the body, which will do the same on the inside. So you need to take your greens, your omega oils, and your pH drops to truly alkalize the body. Now, when I test people, they're not a little acidic. They're 1,000 times, 10,000 times, sometimes 100,000 times too acidic, as crazy as that may sound. On the test strips, there's
Oops. I lost Dr. JJ, or I'm sorry, I lost Daniel. Did you lose him too? There he is, back again. Well, he almost came back. I'm waiting. I'm not sure what happened there. And by the way, it comes up saying it's JJ, and the reason is that, as I told you a little earlier, oh, he'll be back. As I told you a little earlier, Daniel's camera apparently failed on his computer, so he went over to JJ's office, and he's on JJ's computer. So we sent the link over there. So they don't seem to be able to get back in. Lost in Orin World. Well, I guess I could sing or dance. You don't want me to do that. We'll just be patient. We'll wait. I saw them try to come back in a couple of times and the connection kept dropping. Hello, Rick. Good to see you, buddy. Who else is here that we haven't said hi to? Mario, Craig, Rick, Bill, Larry, Sue, Chris, Laura, Judy. Hi, Judy, and Patricia. All right. They're apparently having some sort of a problem back there. So we'll just sit here in Haynot and be patient. That's why it's called Google Haynots. Hey, by the way, for those of you who are on here who may not have noticed, I put a question up in the Lunch with Len group early today. And it's a comment and a question. So the comment is that the silent soak funnel, the silent soak funnel is now active. And I actually tested the funnel last night and I used it. And also the closing magnet funnel is active and I tested it and it appears to be working. All the links are working. There's there's several moving parts to those funnels. And I thought it would be good to do a training. Hey, you're back.
I have no clue what happened. I'm using Dr. JJ's computer. As you know, my camera wasn't working. And in the middle of talking, it timed out and right. The screen came up where I needed to log in, so I had to go get him because I'm in his office doing it. So I apologize for that. I have no clue what happened.
You know what? All of us have used webinars in there enough times that we're used to this stuff happening. It just happens occasionally, and
yeah. Okay. So
remember that movie? Remember that movie Gremlins?
Right.
Those gremlins are still out there.
Right.
Green men running around. They're inside the computer. Little green men are running around. Okay. Hey, everybody.
So let me pick up where I left off. So when I test people, they're extremely acidic. And when on the pH test strips, 7.365 is perfect alkalinity in the blood. So when I test when you're perfectly alkaline, it's like a real dark green. Now on the test strips that you get, it goes up shades. Each shade you go up, you're 10 times too acidic. So you're supposed to be at this color right here. The first shade you go back, you're 10 times too acidic. The next shade, you're 100 times too acidic. The next shade, you're 1,000 times too acidic. The next shade, you're 10,000 times. When I test people, they're 2-3 shades back. They are just a breeding ground for everything bad on the inside of their bodies. Now, I like to teach it a certain way because I'm a firm believer in the easier you can make things for people to understand, the more success you're going to have. So a lot of people really still don't get, acidity and alkalinity. And I use this very simple example. If you were to come over to my house and look at, I have an in-ground swimming pool in Arizona, most people do. If you come over to my house and look at my pool, it's crystal clear blue. You think you scoop a cup of water in and drink it, you want to just dive right in, just crystal clear, gorgeous. Now, go 6 doors down to my neighbor's house, where the house is getting foreclosed on, and you look over the block wall fence at his pool, and it's dark green, you can't see the bottom, there's all this crap growing around the side of it. Why? Because that water's very acidic. See, my water is alkaline. Okay, why? Because I give it its supplements. What are the supplements? Well, with a swimming pool, you have a little floaty thing that you put chlorine tablets in. And Once every 2 weeks, I throw a bag of this shock in there that my pool guy gives me, and that's it. My water is alkaline. It's crystal clear. Nothing bad or terrible can grow in it. The neighbor's pool, that's dark green. You can't see the bottom. All this crap growing along the sides. His water is very acidic. You don't want to be that green, dark, yucky pool on the inside of you where everything bad lives, breathes, thrives, and grows. You want to be like my swimming pool, crystal clear, clean, where nothing bad can exist because that water is pH balanced and alkaline. So that's a good way to kind of look at it when you explain it to people. You want to be that crystal clear pool on the inside where nothing bad can live, breathe, thrive, or grow versus that dark green one where they're just having a heyday. Because again, everything from the common cold, flu, viruses, to cancer cell, they live, breathe, and thrive in acidity. And when you remove the acidity, replace it with alkalinity, it can't live. Now, geez, Daniel, how come I'm just hearing about this? How come my doctor isn't teaching me this? Well, here's the plain, cold, hard facts. 9 out of 10 doctors become a doctor not because their heart is truly into helping people. It's one of the top paying professions in the United States. I'd say 1 out of 10 become a doctor because they truly want to help people. So I'm not joking when I say this. If a doctor was to teach all of his patients to alkalize, he would cut his paycheck in less than half. Because when you walk into a doctor's office, what do you see? You never get taken on time. We all know that. Every chair is full. These guys are coughing and hacking. This guy's sneezing, achoo, achoo, you know. This guy's got some liver and kidney problems. These 3 people got cancer. Well, if a doctor taught his patients to alkalize, this person wouldn't have a virus or cold. This person wouldn't have the flu. You know, this person, you know. So, again, the single most important thing one can do for their body to prevent disease, illness, and even cancer is to alkalize because it's medically proven. Many, many years ago, the gentleman wins the Nobel Peace Prize, proving that nothing can live in an alkaline environment, but it lives, breathes, and thrives in acidity. So, again, you take your greens, your omega oils, and pH drops. Now, it doesn't take months. You know, people think, well, okay, I'm going to start taking this. I'm going to start alkalizing. You get the test strips. You test yourself in the morning. Now, to get an accurate reading, you have to test yourself first thing in the morning. Before you brush your teeth, before you take a sip of coffee, because the minute you do, boom, that will not be an accurate reading. You put a little saliva on the tip of your tongue when you wake up. You put it on the test strip. You hold it up to the chart. You can also use urine. You can put a couple drops of urine on there. You know what? Saliva works just fine. Do whatever you like, but you can do it either way, with urine or with your saliva. But the key is with saliva, the minute you wake up, you have to do it. If you brushed your teeth, took a sip of coffee, that is going to be an inaccurate reading. So you test yourself today. You might be 3 shades up. You're very, very acidic, 10, 100, 1,000 times too acidic. You start alkalizing by taking your greens, omega oils, and pH drops. And within 3 weeks, less than a month, some people 2 weeks, some people 3.5 weeks, you're going to test yourself. You're going to be right where you should be. So it's not like it takes months or years. No. 3.5 weeks max. Some people sooner, just depending on how acidic you are. Some people I'll test are 100 times too acidic. Some people 10,000. Some people, even more. So depending on how acidic you are will determine how fast we can get you to an alkaline state. Again, less than a month, even if you're 1,000 times too acidic. You start alkalizing, meaning taking your greens, omega oils, pH drops, and everything you drink. Within 3 weeks approximately, you'll test yourself, and you're going to be that crystal clear swimming pool where nothing bad can live or survive versus that dark green one that's acidic where everything lives, breathes, thrives, and grows. So, that's how I explain alkalizing to people. If someone said to me, Daniel, I know I should take a multivitamin. I know vitamin B is important. I know I should take calcium, magnesium. I know I should take vitamin D. If someone said, I know I should take all these things, Daniel, but I just can't afford I just can't afford all of these supplements. I would say, forget about everything. You want to cut your chances down to getting, I can't sit here and say if you alkalize, you'll never get cancer. But what I can say is in 1931, Dr. Warburg won the Nobel Peace Prize, proving that no form of disease or illness, to common cold, flu, viruses, not even cancer, can live in alkalinity. So if you want to cut your chances down to little to none of getting it, I've been alkalizing for going on about 7 years. I've never had a cold. I've never had the flu. Every time I get my blood checked, I'm like a 30-year-old, and I'm 52. I have great blood work because I alkalize. All my friends, they're always got the sniffles, they're getting sick. What's wrong? Oh, God, I got the flu really bad, Daniel. I got some virus. It can't live in me. It just can't, because I'm an alkaline human being versus an acidic human being. So it's a simple creature. Some people know about it. More people don't, because your doctors don't teach it to you. We're in a very sad world, unfortunately. Well, if you're not sick, no one's making money. I don't care if it's from the doctors to the pharmaceutical companies that don't create cures. They create customers. They want you taking their pills for 20, 30 years or 40 years, as long as you're alive, for your high blood pressure. These pills for pain, these pills for this, these pills for that, because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Again, they don't create cures. They create customers. The same reason doctors don't teach. Now, there's doctors out there that do teach alkalizing. They're few and far. They really are. They really care about people. Again, 1 out of 10 doctors really becomes a doctor for the right reason. Their heart is truly into helping people, like we are here at Asante Organics. We're all about education. You can cut your chances of getting a lot of disease, illness, common cold, flu, virus, and even cancer just by alkalizing. And back to like I was saying earlier, if someone said, I know, Daniel, I should be taking this vitamin, that vitamin, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, but I can't afford all these supplements. I would say, you know what? Just do one thing. If you can only afford to do one thing, just alkalize. Because an alkalized body on the inside pretty much takes care of itself. So with that being said, I think I covered everything. It's a pretty simple creature. I can't speak anymore really on alkalize unless I'm repeating myself, which I did a couple times on certain points, and I do that because they're very important points. And so if there's any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to take them. Anything I can do or answer, I'm here to help, so fire away.
So, yeah, can you see the chat, Daniel, or is it...
I can, but you know what? I'm getting old. I'm good on the inside, but I need some cheaters here.
Okay, so Larry asks, if you're taking your greens 3 times a day, how often should we be using the drops in our water drinks? Everything
you drink, you need to use the pH drops, and everything you drink is acidic. So if I'm having a 12-ounce glass of water, I'm going to put 6 drops in this. Okay, if you got 16 ounces, you're going to put 8 drops. It comes with a dropper. So 1 drop for every 2 ounces of everything you drink, period.
Okay, now that's an interesting point there. If we're using water to make the shakes, do we still need to alkalize in addition to using the shake mix?
Well, the shakes are alkaline, but the water is not. So I would put some drops in there, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because our shake mix is an alkaline shake mix, but you're making it with water that's not alkaline. So what I would do is, I don't know how, everybody makes their shakes differently. I like to make mine, I put a handful of ice, and then I like to use coconut milk, and I like the chocolate one, and I throw a banana in there. So let's say you're using water. If you're going to use 6 ounces of water, just put 3 drops in there to make your shake. If you're going to use 12 ounces, just put 6 drops of water in there, pour it in the blender or in your mixer, put in your powder. If you're going to use coconut milk or almond milk, if you use 12 ounces, put 6 drops. If you're using, 4 ounces, depending on how many ounces you're using, 1 drop for every 2 ounces into the liquid you're going to use to make your shake with.
Okay. And that, Craig, let me get to you in just a second. Yeah, and just for the record and for recipes, I do something very similar. I make the shake out of, but I do use water, but usually throw a banana in. One of the things that I have not been doing is putting the drops into the shake. So I should.
Yeah, I would do it in the water before you put the whatever amount of water you use into your mixer, whatever, whether you use a blender, whether you use a shaker. Again, if you got 6 ounces of water, you just put 3 drops in, just depending on how big your shake is.
Okay. Now, Craig Kassler asks, if someone is already sick, by becoming alkalized, will it help them? So starting with someone who's already gotten sick.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to tell you a true story. It's never too late to alkalize, okay? Especially with cancer patients. A very dear friend of mine who used to be my accountant, he's retired now, but never smoked, he never drank. He's like a father to me. My biological father passed quite a few years, 20-some years ago. So this gentleman, I moved to Arizona 24 years ago. My father died about a year after I moved here. And this guy kind of was like a father to me. His name, nicest guy in the world. And he was my accountant. And older gentleman, I'd say now he's probably pushing 80. But about, oh gosh, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, he came down with a cough. Here's a guy that never smoked a cigarette, never drank any alcohol. And he had this cough and it wouldn't go away. So he goes to the doctor. They examine him and they find this mass on his lung. They do a biopsy. He's got lung cancer. Okay, so they schedule the surgery to remove it. They go in to remove the mass. It's so big, they had to take out his whole lung. He's only got 1 lung now. I said, and now, prior to this, it was probably about 5 years ago, 5.5. But for about 1.5 years before that, I'm going, Bernie, you need to alkalize. This is before he got sick. You know, everybody, they wait till they get sick to do something, to make their bodies healthier. I use the analogy of a car engine. You know, some people, they check the oil and dipstick, oh, there's oil, and they put it back in. You know, if you change your oil every 3,000, 4,000 miles, you'll get 250, 300,000 miles on those engines. I got plenty of friends that have done it. But the person that, oh, I don't need oil, he checks the dipstick, oh, it's on the full line or low blow, and, you know, only changes the oil once in a blue moon because he checks it and it's full, that engine's going to blow after 70,000 miles. I mean, all the lubricants are missing, even though the oil's in there and it shows it on the dipstick. The properties that lubricate the engine aren't there, and you end up blowing that engine. It doesn't last even 80, 90,000 miles. Same with the human body. It's like preventative medicine. So I've been telling my friend, like I tell all my friends, because I care about people, and my friends especially, and loved ones, that you need to alkalize. And he just kind of blew it off like a lot of people do. All of a sudden, he gets cancer. Okay? Gets cancer. And like I said earlier, he goes in to remove it. It's so bad, they had to remove the whole lung. So I go, Bernie, look, you can have cancer, and anyone can have cancer, but you do not have to die from cancer. Let's create an environment where that cancer can't come back. They removed your lung. They took everything out. You went through your treatment. You had a clean bill of health. There's no cancer in you. So now let's keep it that way. You need to alkalize. Well, now he listens. This is 5.5, 6 years ago. He goes in 3 times a year, every 4 months for a full scan and thing, you know, to check for the cancer. And every time he gets out of his appointment, I get a phone call. Calls me Danny. He says, Danny, clean as a whistle. So here's a guy that had lung cancer so bad that they had to remove the whole lung. He's only living on 1 lung. He's been alkalizing now, going on 6 years. Every checkup he's been to since then, cancer-free. Why? Can't live inside of him. He's got an alkaline environment. So even if someone has cancer, it's not too late. You know, you got to do a treatment, get rid of the cancer. Once you get a clean bill of health, start alkalizing. Provide an environment inside of you where the cancer cell can't live. So yes, I don't care what kind of sickness you have. Again, if you can only afford to do one thing, forget about all the supplements. Just alkalize. You'll cut your chances of getting a common cold, flu, virus, disease, illness, cancer down to almost nothing. Because it's medically proven. Again, in 1931, wasn't 5 years ago. We're talking, 90 some years, going on 100 years, right? 31, 70, 90. It's nutty. 80. It drives me crazy, the world we live in, where everything's about this. It's all about money, not you and your loved one's health. And that's why your doctors don't teach this. Your family practice doctors, they don't teach their patients to alkalize. If they did, again, they would cut their check in half. If they're not getting colds, flus, viruses, cancer, you're not coming to see the doctor. His check goes way down. So, yes, it's never too late to alkalize, and that's a wonderful story I like to share with people, because every 4 months I get a phone call, and he's got perfectly clean. The cancer never came back. Now, I know a lot of people that got cancer, and it comes back. A lot of people. They're not alkalizing.
Yep.
I truly believe if they were to be alkalizing, once they got the cancer out, they got a clean bill of health, they're in remission, there's no cancer in the body, they alkalized, they provide an environment inside them where that cancer cannot live and would not come back.
Yep, that's an awesome story. Hey, we got a ton of questions piling up here, so let me start on them. From Sue, doesn't lemon juice alkalize your water?
Lemon juice is a good alkalizing agent, yes.
Okay. So if you're putting the lemon juice in the water, you don't need the pH drops?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. It does help to alkalize. I would still put the pH drops in there. I've never, since she brought that up, I get new things thrown at me every day. It'd be interesting to see, and if she has some test strips, she can do this with her water after putting the lemons in it, test it with a test strip.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
See if it's alkaline. If it's not, then add some pH drops. I've never tried that little experiment, but seeing she brought that up, that's what I would try. But yes, lemons, believe it or not, as you'd think they're acidic because of the, being lemons, they are an alkalizing agent. So she is correct.
Interesting. Yeah, I would have thought they were acidic.
Yeah, you would think with citrus, right?
Yeah. Okay, and Junie asked, did you mean even using coconut or almond milk, you still need to add the drops if you're not using water?
Yes. Everything you drink, even bottled water, is acidic. So yes.
So coconut milk and almond milk are acidic also?
Absolutely. Not as acidic as other things, but there is some acidity in there.
So I guess what you're really saying, if I were to extrapolate forward, is that one thing you can do, for $10 you can get a set of these test strips, and you can sort of experiment at home. Put your milk in almond milk in a glass and test it.
And one brand you might test it, and oh my gosh, this looks good, and the other one might be, oh God, this is bad. I can't tell you from one brand to the other, but just through educating, and I'm always educating myself, and all the research I've done, I've read, and I'm talking years and years, probably 8 years of research of alkalizing. Everything I read says that it doesn't matter what you're drinking, milk, tea, beer, water, juice, coffee, everything, every liquid we put in our body we consume is acidic. Now, obviously, some are much more acidic than others. So I guess an easy way to test whatever you're drinking or whatever you're using is use the pH strip.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, that seems to be pretty obvious. Okay, Mario just asked to come over, so I just clicked him over. Let's see. Carol, you had, Carol, Carol, I almost made it on time. Well, we're glad you're here, Carol. Welcome aboard. All right. Craig asks, do you recommend the alkaline pH 9 to 9.5 bottled water I've seen in the health food stores?
Yes, but again, I would test it because, it's a crazy world we live in.
Yeah.
Some of those alkaline waters they've tested, and it's not very alkaline, So it's a crazy world we live in, and there's a lot of deception out there, just like our personal care products where they use words like green and natural. Well, just because it's natural doesn't mean it's healthy. Oil's natural, comes out of the earth, right? You shouldn't be putting petroleum products on your body, So, I would, the alkaline water, like Kangen water, great start, absolutely. Well, if you had Kangen water, it's already alkaline. You don't need pH drops in something like that. That's why you're paying $4,000, whatever they charge. You're crazy what they get for some of those machines.
Right. Yeah.
Make that alkaline water, and then some work better than others in that department too with those machines. So again, that's why the test strips. That roll of test strips will last you, God, probably 6 months if you test yourself every day. You just need a little piece, put a little saliva on the tip, and you hold it up to the chart. I mean, that roll, it's a big roll, and it'll last you forever.
Mine didn't last anywhere near that long, Daniel.
No,
I dropped them in the toilet.
Oh, I was going to say, you're scaring me for a second.
Never.
I'm sure that water was real acidic.
The test strips didn't work after that.
No. But that rolls, it's a really big roll, and you don't need. Some people waste them. They tear off a 2-inch strip, to test themselves. Man, all you need is just a 1/2 inch, just enough to hold on to and enough to wet. Just a 1/8 of an inch on the tip, or max a 1/4 inch, and then hold it up to the chart and see where you're at.
Yeah. Let's see. Carol says her pH was in the yellow. Now 5 months later, she's in the green. Woohoo! Okay, good for you, Carol. Let me scan. Mario, you're already over, so I'll leave your questions for you. Junie, valuable answer to my questions. All right, Carol, can it help MS? My daughter is GP. What's GP? With twins. Oh, pregnant, I guess, with twins, and she has MS. Can alkalizing help her?
You know what?
GP.
Yeah. Whether you have MS, I got a friend with cerebral palsy. I got friends with all different diseases. Alkalizing will help everyone. Is it going to get rid of her MS? No. But is it going to help her? I'll tell you another really cool story about alkalizing. We had a lady who was quite a bit overweight. See, fat cells have a hard time surviving in alkaline. They live, breathe, and thrive in acidity, so it's really good for weight loss as well to have an alkaline body, because the fat cells have a hard time living in alkalinity, but in acidity, they live, breathe, and thrive and grow. So we had a lady that wouldn't get out of bed till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Never got out of her pajamas the whole day and moped around the house. She found out about Asante Organic. She came in, started using the products, but more importantly, we're talking about alkalizing, started alkalizing within a month. And she had 3 little kids. Within a month, she lost like 20 pounds. She was getting up at 8 in the morning, taking a shower, getting dressed, putting makeup on. The kids are going up to her going, "Mommy, what's wrong with you? Something wrong?" Because for years, Mommy slept till 12:01. When she got up, she had no energy. Just by alkalizing, you're going to see yourself, not only creating an environment where, no disease, illness, cancer, can't survive. You're going to find yourself sleeping better. You're going to find yourself feeling better. You're going to find yourself having more energy. You're just going to feel a lot better. So no matter what you have, alkalizing, again, if someone said to me, "Daniel, I know I should be taking my calcium, my vitamin D, a multivitamin, my B complex, B12, all this, but gosh, I just can't afford it," I would say, you know what? Forget about everything. I just want you to do one thing, just alkalize. An alkaline environment inside the body cuts your chances of getting any disease, illness, common cold, flu, virus, cancer, down to almost nothing. I can't sit here and say, if you alkalize, you'll 100% chance you'll never catch a cold or get cancer. But I can tell you this, again, being a little redundant, but it's very important. 1931, Dr. Otto Warburg wins the Nobel Peace Prize, medically proving that no form of disease, illness, common cold, flu, or virus, not even a cancer cell, can live in alkalinity. So with that being said, what more can I say?
Yeah. We'll get back to you, Carol. Hang tight. Mario's over here, and he's on first now. He's got to get his. Now, Daniel, are you pressed for time? Do you have a few more minutes?
I have all the time you need.
Okay, Mario, you're on, buddy. Take it away. Can't hear a word you're saying. Can't hear you. Okay.
Glad I'm not the only one having problems.
Can't hear you, Mario. All right, Mario, let me come back to you in a minute, okay? Just something you got a sound problem, buddy. I can't. Your microphone is nothing's happening. Uh, I almost called you. I'm looking at the symbol and it says Dr. JJ, and I'm going. Carol, yeah, the answer, the original question, and she said she lost her signal. She didn't hear the answer. Her original question. She was the one who's got a daughter who's pregnant with twins and has MS. Can alkalizing help her? And do you mind answering the question again? I mean, I can repeat what you said, but
yeah, alkalizing isn't going to get rid of her MS, but it is hugely important for everyone to alkalize for many, many, many reasons. Like I've discussed, I don't want to go over my whole spiel. I just take because I answered that question pretty thoroughly. But in a nutshell, her alkalizing will help her. It'll help her sleep better. It'll give her more energy. She's going to feel better. You know, she's going to prevent herself from getting colds, flus, viruses, things like that. Sometimes people with MS are more susceptible to getting those things. So, yes, it's not going to, does it cure MS? No. But is it going to make her feel better and give her a better quality of life because she's sleeping better, has more energy? Absolutely, yes.
Well, I think there's another thing here that I'd like to touch on too. And by the way, Sue Shepard says, "Amen." Lost 20 pounds since August, alkalizing. Wow.
Right.
Wow. You know, there's another issue here, and if I understand the question that is, as it's written, your daughter's pregnant. Now we know from the 10 Americans that children are you know the blood barrier is, you know, the children are getting the stuff that's in their mother's blood. So if the mother is alkalizing, the child is going to be healthier. The babies are going to be healthier. They're going to be born healthier. They're
Absolutely.
going to have being born with a disease. I mean, this is like this isn't rocket science.
It's not rocket science. It's simple math.
Yeah. Okay, Mario, you want to try it again, buddy?
Yeah. Can you hear me now, Len?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
Miracles.
You got vocal cords.
There you go. Quick question. I guess you had addressed, my friend. I had 3 issues. One was for cancer, so you already addressed that. I'm associated with a lot of autistic groups because of personal family members. Can you kind of just touch upon it? I pretty much know the answer, but just so that when I get this tape out to my buddies, they can listen to it. Can you kind of address? I'm looking at it that it's a quality of life we're going to improve versus solving it.
You're exactly right, Mario. Again, being redundant, but anyone that alkalizes, an alkaline environment, it's going to, you know, cancer can't live in it. They're not going to get colds and flus and viruses. It's just going to improve their quality of life by sleeping better. They're going to be feeling better and cutting the risk of getting any form of disease or illness because it's medically proven that nothing can live in an alkaline environment. It lives, breathes, thrives, and grows in an acidic environment. So whether you have autism, whether you have MS, you know, everyone is going to benefit from alkalizing, period.
Because I've already talked to my friend who's been suffering with cancer for 10 years, told him this would give him a better quality. It may not solve it, totally get rid of it, but it definitely will do that. The second question.
If he gets a clean bill of health, like my friend who had lung cancer and many, many other people I know, and started alkalizing, it's been 7, 8, 9 years for some of these people. Every 4 months they get their checkup, clean as a whistle, no cancer to be found. And I attribute to having an alkaline environment because, again, medically proven, cancer cell cannot live in alkalinity. Lives, breathes, thrives, and grows in a city. It's having a big old party in there. Remove the acidity, it's like a fish out of water. The cancer cell, like, and it dies.
Yeah, you definitely have a believer in me. The other question would be addressing vaccination shots. I mean, can we address that based upon this? In other words, should we avoid them? Because I'm a little hesitant about having my little baby.
Yeah, vaccinations are, I would not take a vaccination if you gave me $1 million.
Okay.
There's a lot of research out there. That's a whole different show.
Okay.
But personally, I would tell, and I'm not a doctor, I'll tell you that right now. I'm highly educated in what I do. So this isn't advice from a doctor. It's my personal opinion. Let's make that clear. I would avoid every vaccination that's out there.
I will second that motion. I refuse to take vaccinations for anything. They keep trying to sell me a flu vaccine or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the flu. I don't need a damn vaccine.
You can go online and read about them all day long and why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good reasons out there, valid. A lot more versus than why you should.
Yeah.
Thank you for the questions.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, does anybody else have any more questions? If not, we're going to wrap it up. Let this gentleman get back to his day. No way. No way. I think you meant no way vaccinations, Chris. Is that what you meant? And Carol, that's awesome. She makes the comment that she has heart issues that seem to be getting better. I think my reds and greens are helping me too. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's so awesome, Carol. That's so awesome that you're making some improvement on that front. Really, really makes me feel good for you. I'm really happy for you. Yay, Carol. All right, everybody. I'll give you a few more seconds. If there's no more questions, can we do some shows on essential oils? Yeah, we'll get back. We're going to work on that, Larry. Absolutely, we're going to work on it. We'd like to do some essential oils one of these days soon. We all have a lot to learn about those. So is that something you can do, Daniel? Is a show on essential oils?
I think Michael would be, I mean, I'm highly educated on those too, but Mike's being a formulator and developer, he'd be the best guy for an essential oil show because he can break them all down, tell you exactly what they do, how they work. And I can do a pretty good job myself, but I spend a lot of my time, I'm very passionate about alkalizing. That's why I did this alkalizing show. But I spend most of my time working with the field, not only educating them on the personal care products, nutritional products, alkalizing, but also on building their business and how to create, a 5-6 figure income a month, not a year. So Mike's being a formulator and working with the team of formulators we have, he'd be the best guy for that show.
Okay. Well, we should do one on how to create a 5 or 6 figure income. Now I know you're going over to Norway and other places, so maybe when you get back, we'll do another show.
Yeah, I have to go to Norway, Holland, do some big events over there and leave in a little bit. But
okay,
I'll be back by the 31st.
There was another question out there. Do we have anybody in Finland?
Finland. I'd have to check. If not, whoever the first one in will have all of Finland underneath them.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful opportunity. I'd have to check. We're in a lot of countries, most countries, and there's some countries just can't do business in because they're so corrupt. Mexico is one of them. The product never makes it to the end user. How can you do business in a country where the border patrol or the customs agents are taking a shower with shampoo, and if it makes it past customs, well, the mailman's sucking on the Power Pops or brushing his teeth with the Sparkle, and the products, they're just very corrupt countries, and you can't get your product to the end user. It's hard to do business in there, but I would think Finland wouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Yes, Carol, it is recorded. I'll put the replay up in Lunch with Len in just a few minutes. And if you don't see it there in a few minutes, then remind me. It means that I got sidetracked and went off to do something else. So, so there is a recording. Okay. Well, once again, Daniel, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's been an awesome session. And so why don't we just ask Len. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel.
You're more than welcome. Anytime, Len.
Yeah, well, when you get back from your trip overseas, we'll plan some more.
You got it, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. You take care.
All right. God bless.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.